We'll gather round, feel the love come down. Blue elephant is strong.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it is finally that time of year that we can start doing some creepy, spooky, Halloweeny sort of things. So today we are doing the coffin. Now, I think this is a really cool mold, and I love the fact that it comes with the 4 different lids that you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do, and you're not limited to just one, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Now, these are all embossed, so what I want to do is I want to use some of my glow-in-the-dark UV resins and also this glow powder that I have. Now, these glow powders by Art and Glow are fantastic. Like, they are honestly probably some of the best glow powders that I've come across that you can probably get. Anyway, so that is what I'm using right now, and I just used a little bit of NicPro's just normal UV resin in there and mixed it up. Now, this one is white in appearance, but when it glows red. And then we're going to use the glow-in-the-dark UV resins that I got from Lightwish because I have them in a bunch of different colors. Now, I could very easily have done them all with the glow or the Art and Glow powders that I have, but I just wanted to kind of use these because they are already pre-colored for me and I don't have to necessarily mix a lot of powders up. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do now. These are very, very detailed molds as far as the lids. Now, the bottom has the cross on it, which is cool, and I really like it a lot. But these tops are super detailed, and in my mind at first, I was going to do just the parts that were kind of sunken in, but then when I was looking at it, the parts like on these windows that I'm doing now, they're all the raised up parts on this side of the mold, which means they'll be down lower when you demold it, but I really wanted those in yellow. Now, could I have done it once I've already poured it and the resin has set and do it afterwards? Yeah, I could have, but I didn't want to do it that way. I wanted to do it this way, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm just kind of going in and letting it cure for 2 minutes or however long it takes me. I'm only setting it on 2 minutes on the Let's Resin Dual UV light. And that is, so it's going to cure from top and bottom, which is really nice. So I don't have to flip my mold over or any of that nonsense. But I'm just kind of going along in the basics for like the yellows where the lights are going to be shining or there's a moon or whatever. And I'm not going to lie, this eye one, I want to say it's the seeing eye, but I'm not 100% sure. I like, as I was kind of working on them and bouncing back and forth, I had this idea in my head, and then it left me. Like it just went shoo, bye-bye, and floated away into the nether, and it never returned again. So I start doing something with it, and then I just simply got lost and like I didn't know what to do anymore. And so it's probably my least favorite out of the ones that I did. Now, am I saying it's my least favorite mold? No, not necessarily. My favorites are the one that the two that have the houses on them are my absolute favorites. Like, I am so in love with them. But anyway, as I continue to go through this, I'm going to bounce off, put some music on for you to listen to, and I'll be back when we get ready to start the next part.
Goblins on the street, moving to the beat, candy on repeat, spooky hands and feet. Groove with the ghosts, party with the ghouls, Halloween host, breaking all the rules. Ooh.
Alright, well, I guess that wasn't quite as long as I thought it was going to be. I will be bouncing off again. I just want to let you know what I decided to do at this point was I'm going to do them in black, right? So the lids and the coffin itself are going to be in black, but I want there to be a difference in those embossed areas. So I decided that I was going to use some of my Let's Resin Black Hollow glitter powder, just so that when I put the black in the bottom, there's a difference in between the blacks, if that makes sense. And I thought that that was going to be a really good idea on what to do so that there would be a slight variation in it. So that is all I am doing right now. And then I'm going to leave again real quick, and then I will be back.
In the moonlight, shadows creep. Spooky secrets that we keep. Skeletons that start to rise. Glowing red and haunted eyes. Coffins creak and doors they slam. Cursed by an undead jam. Vampires whisper in the dark. Fangs that leave a chilling mark. Halloween, oh what a fright. Ghosts and ghouls all are out tonight. Creepy crawlies in the mist. Join the spooky monstrous list. Witches flying on their brooms. Candles flicker in old rooms. Zombies stumbling on the street. Monsters dancing to the beat. Pumpkin faces grinning wide. Spooky tales we can't hide. Haunted nights and eerie sights. Living for the ghostly frights. Halloween, oh what a
Okay,
fright.
and as you've seen, I just cleaned off the excess powder with either painter's tape or alcohol on my brush just to kind of get it off in the areas that where I didn't want it. And now I'm using my Let's Resin epoxy resin with some Rolio black pigment paste, and we're just going to mix it up. Now, if you've not used black pigment paste like this, now I have used other pigment paste. Well, they say they're pigment paste, but they're not. They're like super liquidy. Not the same as this thicker stuff. You need to make sure that you're mixing it super, super well to get all of that paste mixed up in there. And then I like to wipe off my craft stick of any excess paste that's sitting on there, because if you get like a lump of the paste that's not mixed up when you pour it in here, it's going to settle down to the bottom and it's going to kind of stick in there, and it will leave a hole because like the resin won't go there, that you're just going to get a like a little blob of the pigment paste and it's going to come off. And then once you clean it off, you're going to have a hole there, and it's just a whole thing that nobody wants to deal with. So yeah, just make sure you mix it well, and then when you think you've mixed it enough, mix it up some more and clean off that stick just to kind of help. And that's it. Now I did pour in a little slow on these lids, and I'm hoping that the resin will kind of just find its way into all those grooves. Hindsight, I guess I should have taken a dotting tool in there and kind of made sure that that resin flowed in there. Spraying alcohol wouldn't have worked because I did brush the glitter powder on, and that would have just made it come off, which is, not what I want to have happen. Now, I was worried about doing the dotting tool for two reasons. One, I didn't want to scrape it off, all that glitter powder, and two, I didn't want to knock loose the UV resin that I put in there. So it's kind of like a give and take with this. You may not be able to get into all those little areas, which are going to leave some air pockets where the bubbles get stuck down in those crevices. And then I'm taking my dotting tool and I'm going around the edges and the corners and all that stuff really well, just to make sure that there's no air trapped in there. So at least that much I can control and, hopefully not have an issue with it. Now, I do want to make mention of a difference that I found in the actual glow in the dark UV resin as opposed to using a powder uh glow, like a glow powder. Now, if you've never done anything with glow in the dark stuff before, it's a powder. It's not mica, okay? It's different. So it's heavier, it's thicker. When you mix it up, it doesn't like kind of dissolve the same way that mica powder does. And it will settle to the bottom. So if you are not mixing it up periodically, all that glow powder will sit on the bottom, leaving you with not, I guess, a lot of the glowing effects of the powder in there. So what I noticed in the UV resins that were already pre-mixed, and I didn't notice it the last time I used it, and I don't know why, if it's just they've been sitting too long. I think maybe you need to kind of shake them to mix them up a little bit, because I did notice as I was squeezing them out of the bottles that there were parts of it that were way lighter than other parts. Now, hindsight, I should have taken the time to kind of do just what I'm telling you to do, because I didn't do that. And I think that that is is what makes the difference in the demold when I demold these later on. And I'm going to show you the difference between the glow powder that I actually mixed in there and then the UV resin. And you're going to see, you'll be able to clearly see the difference in it. And I don't think it's the color issue necessarily. I think it's the fact that all of that powder got settled to the bottom. Like, I mixed it up as I poured it out, and I could see that there's a difference. I mixed that up, but I never actually took the time to shake the bottle, which is what I should have done. So if you use these, if you have them, if you don't have them and you're going to get them, make a point to shake them up before you use them, and hopefully that will kind of get rid of any issue that you may have like I had. All right, so I just took my time. I poured these in, filled them up, hit them with my heat gun. We're going to let these kind of do their thing and come back and see what we get. Okay, so, and here we are, 24 hours later. It's time to demold these. Now remember, this one and part of the eye is what I used on the glow powder that I mixed up, that art and glow powder. And here in a second, you can see how great that is. Now, I can see a little bit of the holographics from the glitter on the screen. You can tell a lot more in real life, in person, than maybe my cameras are able to do for you. You can see the difference. I had a hard time capturing some of it with the cameras. Okay, so here's the next one. Now you can see again that white is very, very bright, but I put purple and I put green on the triangle around it, and you can't see that at all. Now, it's not because the UV resin or the regular resin went underneath the UV. I'm getting this all backwards. Let's try this again. It's not because the regular resin went underneath the UV resin like has happened before to me. It just happened. Because when I put the light on it to get it to glow, you can actually see the whole thing glow, as you will see in the glamour shots here later on. Same thing with this one. All you can see is black. And I think that a big part of that is because I didn't mix up and that glow powder didn't come out the way it should have. Because otherwise, why would the white be so vivid and so great? You know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense. Now, those two that I just pointed at are my favorites out of them. I really, really like them a lot. Again, you can't really tell. You can tell more in real life that the yellow that's on there than you can in the pictures. And you will be able to see it again in the glamour shots that are coming up here right now. Anyway, that's a wrap on this one, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you on Thursday in the next one. And if I get it done, it's going to be really, really cool. Anyway, I will see you then. Love ya. Bye.
Elephant is strong. Together we belong. In every comment right, you lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer.